Lionesses getting beat 2-1 in their opener by France. Again, really disappointing. You said it there, Jordan, at the top of the show when you spoke about the start of the game. England started really, really well, but just couldn't maintain it.
No, I think, like I said, when Russo obviously got that disallowed goal, I think France just took it to another level. They were dominating in midfield, in the wide areas. Jess Carter was finding it tough against Cascarino. Getting a lot of crosses in the box, and it just put England on the back foot. And it's probably the first time I've not seen England have a lot of control of the ball in the games they normally play. They're normally quite organised, and they just looked a little bit too open. As soon as they lost it, France were just turning the ball and going on the attack.
Absolutely. All right, well, listen, let's go and speak to now Natasha Dowie. She was on co-com's duty for talkSPORT this evening. She had a front row seat at this game for the Lionesses. Natasha, how are you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are you? Could have been better. Would have been happier with a win, but yeah, we've got still lots to play for.
What did you make of the performance, Natasha? Because I thought England started off really, really well, and I thought, okay, they obviously had the goal disallowed, which, again, I'm guessing we'll get to about the VAR decision, but I thought they started off really brightly, and there was only one winner I could see, but after that first 20 minutes, it went really, really flat.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. I think it wasn't probably what I was expected. I didn't think they would dominate so much in that first 20. I was actually surprised with how poor France were. And again, the VAR and the goal going against them wasn't ideal. If they had that on top of the momentum, I think England probably would have gone on to win the game, but it didn't happen. And I think what I was mostly disappointed with then was the response. Absolutely, you're going to have momentum and shifts in play, and the French would be on top and England would be on top. But I think overall, when we look at the 90 minutes, it just was not good enough. Everyone has an off day, but if you have an off day on the international stage at tournament football, you're going to get found out. And maybe one or two players, you can get away with it. But to be honest, probably Lauren James and maybe Ajiman when she came on, everyone else for their standards was miles off it.
Tash, I know you'd obviously spoke about team selection a little bit. Do you think there might be a question mark on Jess Carter? Obviously it's not normal to sub your full back, and she did have a tough time. And I don't think, obviously, like you said, some players helped her out when she's in them 1v1 battles. But do you think that'll be a question on Serena maybe making some different selection choices?
Yeah, it's so hard, isn't it, Jordan, when you think about it? Because, to be honest, I think put any player up against Cascarino, I think they're going to struggle. She's that quick, and this is why I think that if a Charles had started, would it have been any different? I don't think so. If a Greenwood plays out wide, would it have been different? No. I think Jess Carter isn't slow, but Cascarino is just so quick. So that's why I was more disappointed, actually, with her teammates helping her out. You've been in the game, you played at the top. If you're struggling, and you can see she's done you 1v1 straight away, you have to get around her. Hemp has to track back more, and it's hard work. Midfield have to tuck over. So Greenwood then needs to cover her, but they didn't. They just said, there you go, Jess, go 1v1 with her and suffer. And I think that's what I was more disappointed about. Normally we see more of a togetherness with England, but in too many positions, I think that happened too often.
Also, as well, Natasha, England are used to dominating the football. They move the ball really well, mainly through Kira Walsh as well. Who's lovely in possession. She keeps it ticking over. I just don't think England kept possession enough. And when they did get possession after they've won it back from France, they were too quick to give it away.
Oh, so unlike them. And I think that's probably, actually, looking back at the 90 minutes, the most disappointing thing. I think, except for Spain, England probably, in my opinion, are one of the best teams on the ball. That's their strength, is possessing the ball, playing through the thirds. They have ball players. But today, it was just so unlike them. And Kira Walsh, we talk about key players in teams. Kira Walsh is phenomenal, the best in her position. But when she has an off day, and then a Stanway, who's normally, again, so consistent, gets around, puts the tackles. She has an off day. Lauren Hemp, who's been out for a big amount of time. Sorry, Lauren James, who's been out for a big amount of time. You expect her to then run the midfield, and she did as much as she could. But I think that was the problem. Too many players for their standards. Beth Mead, normally phenomenal in an England shirt. Her stats are ridiculous on the international stage. I've never seen her play such a poor game. It wasn't just one pass. It was every single pass, giving it away under needless pressure. Same, Hemp tried a bit, Russo worked hard, but again, you can't have one or two players and then everyone else off it. And I think as well, what disappoints me is when you make one bad pass, someone else needs to tidy up and say, okay, this is the standard we have, let's get back to it. But someone made a bad pass, then someone else would, and it was infectious throughout the whole team. Then Hannah Hampton, started spinning things. So we talk about what is the reasons. I'm hoping it's just one hell of a bad day at the office, but they need to regroup quickly. Will Serena Wiegman make changes? in my opinion, from what I've seen in the past, probably not. You know, she doesn't like to, and that would blow my mind if that wasn't the case, because I think she needs to be brave now. I really do. I think it's a big ask, but your Beaver Joneses, Ajimans, I would love to see them more involved.
Yeah, I think we were obviously speaking about with Darren about how isolated players look. Like you said, you saw players losing the ball, and then it kind of felt like the Lionesses didn't have that second player to then fight for the challenge again. And you look at the likes of Lauren James, obviously we won on the pitch, but you saw her and Beth Mead getting a little bit deeper and deeper. But are you saying that you think that a bit of change of players rather than tactics?
Yeah, and I think it's spot on, isn't it? And I was thinking that it felt as if France almost had 22 players. You know, it felt like every time they had the ball, they had options. They were enjoying their football. I felt like with England, it's in a long time anyway, since I've watched England play, it felt like when they got the ball, there just wasn't options. To me, they didn't look like, I was struggling to see a pattern of play, a game plan, which normally you see through England. Everyone's so well connected. These players have played a lot together. It's not like they're a new group of players, you know, at club level and international level. So look, Serena Wiegman will not change the formation. She won't. I would love to. I'd love her to be brave and go 4-4-2, you know, and be brave and put a Beaver Jones or an Ajiman up top with a Russo, you know, and go in midfield, and you can tuck the wide players in and make them a bit more inverted. But she won't. And obviously, I'm not the England manager, and what she's done on the international stage, she's probably laughing that I'm even having an opinion on it. But I just thought it was poor tonight. So again, how they can change that within 3 or 4 days, I'm not too sure, but they need to, because the Dutch looked really strong as well, and it's a must win. They have to win.
Yeah, they do. They really, really do, Natasha.